What's up, Gamer Nation? Today, we have to take a look at another Karen here. This is something that came across my Twitter timeline several times, and the more that I watched it, the more I was just confused on the whole situation here. But you know how Karens are, man. Everything is an inconvenience. Everything is a nuisance. Whenever literally anything, the smallest thing happens, it has to become a fucking emotional tirade. That's just how it is, man. They can't just handle themselves for even 45 minutes, according to this video. They can't go 45 minutes without having an issue in their lives. It's a first world syndrome. If you don't know what that is, essentially it's just a problem that first world people have that isn't really a problem, but you know, it's a problem because, you know, they don't have actual, like, big problems going on elsewhere. And not to say that people in the first world can't have actual problems, but you can tell that people who are in these kinds of situations here, literally nothing is going wrong in their life, and this is like the only escape they have to find something to complain about and to have a big deal, I guess. But I guess with that being said, we'll go ahead and just dive right on into the video. It's about 2 minutes long, so I mean, there's a little bit here that we need to react to and unpack. With that being said, go ahead and check this out, and I'll be back in a second.
That was probably 45 minutes of having it on. It's the first time I've worn one. I am disoriented. I'm a little mad, if you can't tell that already. Like, I'm frustrated, but I don't feel good physically. Like, I can tell you right now, I wasn't getting enough oxygen, and I just had on one of these little stupid things.
Alright, so Karen does not feel good physically. She is apparently disoriented, and on top of that, she is frustrated. Now, I find it a little odd that she's so disoriented, right, that instead of seeking medical attention for being disoriented, she has decided to set her iPhone up on the dashboard of her car and record a 2-minute video telling everyone how disoriented she is. Like, just personally speaking here, I don't know, feel free to correct me in the comments if this is not how you guys would act, but me personally, if I walked around for 45 minutes with a mask on, and then I started to feel quote-unquote disoriented and did not feel good, I would probably end up either just trying to go home and rest to see if it was actually just like a heat of the moment thing, or like seeking some form of medical attention. I wouldn't be just fucking complaining to everyone about how bad I feel. I don't know, just me. Yeah, one of those little stupid things, that's a 4-letter word called a mask. Don't know if you've ever heard that one before, but I'm just gonna keep it $1.50 and just say it. I think you're lying about not getting enough oxygen, and you know why I'm gonna say that? Because you can breathe through the mask, right? Like, the whole point of these masks are to kind of like limit the transmission of COVID-19. That's why everyone's wearing them. They don't really restrict the oxygen flow into your body. You know, they're breathable, they're lightweight. All it does is try to filter out the virus and things like that on a very basic scale, you know, that very rudimentary understanding of how the mask works. So you should have been able to get plenty of oxygen. Now, another thing I want to point out is, once again, she's disoriented. She's claiming she didn't get enough oxygen, but then now she is going to film a 2-minute video in her car in which she rambles on and rants about how she didn't have enough oxygen. You do realize that people who have, like, suffered from, like, a lack of oxygen in, like, the recent few minutes, generally, they don't just sit there and talk for 2 minutes and ramble on there, you know, trying to catch their breath, trying to make sure that they don't die. Yeah, that, I know, it's a little confusing, right? That's how that works, but
I feel dizzy. My hands are kind of tingly. My heart is beating fast, so some of it's an emotional reaction, but some of it's a physical reaction.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of emotional and physical reactions all the people who are, like, on the front lines of this entire pandemic are feeling, right? I mean, poor pitiful you had to wear a fucking mask for 45 minutes when you went into Kroger. I feel so horrible for you. I mean, holy, like, how did you do it, first and foremost? Hey, can we get a reporter? Hey, can someone come write about this woman? She's a hero to the planet here. How did you do this? I don't know, man. It's insane. You had to wear a surgical mask for 45 minutes. It's not like there's actual doctors and nurses who are right now in hospitals doing 24-hour shifts with a mask on. By the way, only getting like one of them per week, and they have to take it home and wash it when they're off the clock and stuff like that. Yeah, that's not going on. We should all feel bad for you because you're sitting inside of your $30,000 soccer mom van here, telling the world about how dizzy and disoriented you are because of your quote-unquote lack of oxygen from wearing a mask.
I understand the virus is real. Okay, I understand the virus is real. Friends, look at the numbers and tell me why everybody's living in fear.
Because millions of people around the world have contracted this virus.
Tell me why we're putting these things on.
To limit the transmission of the virus.
And not being able to breathe.
You can breathe with the mask on, by the way. You just gotta, here. That's all you gotta do. It's like magic. It's like rocket science there, folks.
I just want to cry. Like, that's all I want to do is cry, because you can't see people's faces. You can't make human connection. We can't hug people.
Who gives a fuck? The issue is bigger than you. You say, oh, I understand the virus is real, but you do realize that this whole situation is bigger than you. I mean, when I go out in public, I don't care if people aren't wearing masks. I really personally don't. It's whatever. It's like, if you want to get it, go ahead. That's on you. You can risk it for the biscuit or whatever. But to sit here and try and fucking pretend like there's not a global pandemic going on is ridiculous. Yeah, you feel like crying right now. Imagine what all of the nurses and doctors are going through when they're sitting here watching people die in hospital beds. Or imagine how families feel when they lose a loved one to the virus. I wonder if they feel like crying because they can't see people's faces in a goddamn Starbucks. Like, I find it funny, right? Because, like, I feel like older generations, they love to call younger people snowflakes, and I agree, right? Like, younger people are definitely a little bit more sensitive than older people, because that's kind of how, like, our generations have created a culture within themselves, is to be a little bit more sensitive to people's feelings and things like that. I get that. But to try and pretend like there's not, you know, women like this walking around and men who are like 55 and crying because they can't see people's faces inside of Walmart is absolutely bewildering to me.
We can't hold their babies.
Whose babies are you holding? Like, what? This woman's acting like she's just going into Walmart and she just sees somebody pushing their kid along in a stroller. She's like, oh my God, he's so precious. Can I please hold your baby? Like, bro, if I was a dad, right, and I was just pushing, you know, little Optimus around in a cart, just trying to get groceries, and this bitch walked up to me and was like, can I hold your baby? I'm calling the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no chance that anyone is letting this woman hold their baby. I mean, she very clearly is an unstable person. I think the last thing anyone should be letting happen is her to hold their babies, bro.
I'm at the end of it. I'm just simply at the end of it. It doesn't make sense.
I'm at the end of it. Oh my God. What? You're at the end of it because you're encouraged to wear a mask in public for 45 minutes. This was the struggle of your lifetime, okay? Having to wear a mask for 45 minutes, you hero. In the 1940s, 18-year-old boys rushed the beaches of Normandy facing basically being mowed down by machine guns, watching everyone they've known for months just be chopped up into hamburger meat on the beaches of Normandy to fight for justice in the world. In the 60s and 70s, young American men were drafted into Vietnam to go fight a fucking war in the jungles. And right now, there are people in hospital beds on ventilators, unable to breathe for themselves, dying very, very painfully and slowly. But this woman is at the end of it.
This doesn't make sense, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, no one gives a shit if you're okay with it or not. I'm here to tell you that because apparently you've gone your whole life believing that everybody in the world cares about what you think and what you have to say. And it feels weird that me at the age 20, like I have to be the one to break you this news because your parents didn't do it for you, none of your colleagues ever did it for you, your own children, if you have them, never did it for you. Nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares about how you feel. That's just simply not how the world works. The fact that you have to wear a mask for 45 minutes in public is not a tragedy. It's not a hardship. It's encouraged as a precaution to save your life, to save other people's lives, and so we can all get back to doing things faster, right? That's the whole reason that it's there. 45 minutes is not a long period of time. So do me a favor, get over yourself, take a deep breath, because I know you can do it because you've been talking this whole time. You know, take a deep breath and shut up.
Nothing about what we're doing is supported by the numbers that are out there.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that you're right about that, you know. You seem to have a lot of evidence behind what you're saying. It's not like there's not tens of thousands of scientists and doctors around the world who are creating all of these strategies to limit the transmission of this virus, and, you know, they have all the numbers and science in the world to help try and combat this. They're probably all wrong. Every single one of them, all those college-educated people who've been doing this their whole lives, they don't know what they're talking about. It's Karen here in her 2014 Honda minivan sitting outside of a Wendy's. Yeah, she's the one who knows everything about this.
Those of you that know me, like, I am one of the most compassionate, caring people you will ever meet. And I do care about you. But I also care about me and my children and my family. And I do care about my rights.
I wouldn't necessarily call you compassionate or caring, considering, you know, you're trivializing basically all the other shit that, you know, real world first responders and everyone have to go through because you had to wear a mask and you couldn't see 3-year-old children walking around Walmart. You know, I wouldn't necessarily call that compassionate, but I mean, whatever you say there, Karen. If you cared about you, your children, and your family, you would just shut up and wear a mask for 45 minutes. It's not hard. It's not a big deal, okay? It's very obvious that you care about yourself way more than you care about other people. That's why you made a 2-minute video complaining that you couldn't breathe through a surgical mask in order to try and get sympathy for having to walk through Walmart with it on.
And it's probably the last time I'm wearing this because I feel terrible. I feel emotionally terrible, but I feel physically like it affected me. So anyway, there you go.
Well, you feel physically terrible. That's okay. I wonder how you're going to feel if you contract COVID-19. I wonder how physically terrible you're going to feel when that happens. Because I hear it's pretty rough. I hear it's definitely not a good time. I hear people who have it are not enjoying it by any, you know, stretch of the imagination. So do me a favor, Karen. If and when that happens, can you please film another little update video here to put it out so we can all kind of see what you think about that? You know, thank you. And I get, right, like, oh, you care about your rights. I understand that. I care about my rights too. I just want to let you know, I'm assuming you live here in the United States. It's not a violation of the Constitution to encourage you to wear a mask. You're not forced into it, like, well, at least here, right? Like, where I live in Ohio, okay? One of the biggest states in the country, so, you know, you would think that since that's the case, it would be one of the areas that would be, like, you know, heavy affected by any kind of rules or whatever. We had stay-at-home orders, which pretty much everywhere had, but right now, pretty much nowhere you go is requiring that you wear a mask. I just went to Walmart about 2 weeks ago. There was no requirement to wear a mask to go into Walmart. They had some restrictions on like how far you could stand from other people, 6 feet. They had like some, you know, I guess they were like counting the people who went in and out of the building. So like they were supposedly setting a limit on how many people could be in at one time. There was no sign saying that you had to wear a mask. Same thing at any restaurant. Like I went and picked up food at a lot of places. There's no requirement to wear a mask to go up to the window or to go get food. A lot of restaurants are opening back up here, as a matter of fact. People are not required to wear a mask to go into most places. It's not like the government is standing at the door, like there's like a fucking army soldier standing at your front door, and like every time you go out there like, where's your mask? Where's your mask? It's merely encouraged, okay? You're not a hero. You're not a victim. Nothing's wrong with you. Anyway, yeah, that's about the end of this one, though. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at Optimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. Guys, stay healthy and stay safe during this time, honestly. Regardless of what you believe on this whole thing, you know, just stay safe, don't get sick, prioritize your health, please. And with that being said, this is Optimus. Wearing a mask, or not wearing a mask even sometimes. I don't know. Who cares? We'll see how it works. I don't know. And signing out.